what a lovely day for a spot of Garden Hammer. Not only that, it's a White Dwarf refight battle report. This is something I've been wanting to do pretty much since I started this channel. I'm dead excited, in case you can't tell, of all the things to refight. It is an old world battle that we're going to refight. To be precise, we are refighting White Dwarf 229. So this is, if anyone's interested, this is going back to the era of Fat Dwarf. This is when Fat Bloke was in charge. I'm not going to talk through the whole contents of this issue of White Dwarf. There is an excellent video by Nick Davis over on his channel, which I will link to in the description below, if you'd like to see what the rest of the content of this White Dwarf was. But this White Dwarf coincided with the release of the then brand spanking new metal and plastic multi-part crossbowman kit. It was an excellent opportunity to showcase what was then all the new and lovely multi-part plastics that were coming out. So all the different kind of halberdiers, swordsmen, crossbowmen, handgunners for the Empire, and all the different kind of wolf riders, spearmen, archers for Night Goblins that have been released at that point. To that purpose, the Dark Lord himself, Tuomas Pyridon, launched a battle report pitching the men of the Empire against the dark hordes of a goblin warlord called Spinny Blackstab. I will give you a brief taste of the lore that he wrote.
The Imperial Annals tell that in the summer of the year 2510, a horde of goblins, commanded by the infamous Spinny Blackstab, was plaguing the lands around Middenheim. As the year progressed, and Warboss Blackstab gathered ever more goblins under his banner, he became bolder in his raids. After several farmsteads had been burnt to the ground, the Elector Count of Middenheim mustered his forces. As the goblin horde was larger than the usual roving bands, the Imperial Outriders and militia were unable to deal with green-skinned devils. Unwilling to send his elite White Dwarf Templars to battle because it would weaken his garrison too much, he instead called for brave mercenaries to join the expedition. The gold of the Count bought the services of the famed Daedalo and his birdmen, who were visiting the city of the White Wolf for the annual carnival. They had already gained quite a reputation with their flying shows. The command of the Imperial army was entrusted to Kurt Heimfold, who was one of the Midden Marshals at that time. A veteran of many battles, Kurt was an expert at fighting goblins. In the great temple of Ulrich, Kurt vowed to destroy the goblins or die trying. After several weeks of chasing after the rampaging horde, Daedalo's birdmen soaring above the treetops finally detected the goblins. With their backs to the Middle Mountains, the domain of the Beastmen, the goblins turned to face the humans. Emerging from the shadows of the forest, the soldiers of the Emperor drew up their battle line. The two armies were very equal in strength and numbers, and a long and bitterly fought battle was to follow.
What we thought would be quite cool was both myself and Michael have got Orc and Goblin Empire armies. I'm working on an Empire army for a 5th edition event later this year. What we thought would be cool would be to take as close as possible the original forces from the White Dwarf Battle Report in 229 and refight it using the new Warhammer the Old World rules. So that's exactly what we've done. So we've tried as much as possible to match the units that were present in that Battle Report that were picked by the two different White Dwarf players. And where possible, we've tried to match the magic items as well, or find something that is as close as an approximate equivalent within the kind of magic items that are available for the two armies at the moment. So without further ado, let's talk through what's in each of our armies, and we'll also then be able to see what the deployment is for this army, because we've deployed them already. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so we've got a unit of Wolf Riders led by Big Boss Bone Breath on his Wolf Daisy Wolf. They're chariot runners. We've got a couple of wolf chariots. One's here. That isn't really Grom the Paunch, but that's what my model is. We've got a Doom Diver. We've got a unit of 3 Stone Trolls. We've got some Snotlings, which weren't in the initial battle report, but I needed to fill up the points, and Snotlings are cool, so I've got some Snotlings there. We've got 25 Night Goblin Spearmen, and they may have some Fanatics hidden inside.
These aren't the original multi-part Night Goblins that came out back when 229 was out.
Yeah, and these are led by the General, Warlord Spinny Blackstab. We have got a unit of Night Goblin Archers.
These are some classics.
Yeah, these are from my 4th edition starter box. And so in here we have got Night Goblin Big Boss, Shimsham, Shimsham the Shaman, and Big Boss Chucker. In there. Then we have got, instead of the 3 hoppers that they had in the original battle report, I've got a unit of skirmishing squig hoppers.
10 squig hoppers.
10 squig
Full-size
hoppers.
unit.
And
The missing
Ben's chariot on the end. So yeah.
And so in terms of magic items, let's just talk through what some of them have got. So the original White Dwarf list had a very kind of eclectic mix of magic items for the different characters. So let's start with the Warlord, Spinny Blackstab himself, lurking on the end there with a big sickle-shaped moon cutter.
So he had the armour of meteoric iron, so I've given him that again.
Yeah.
I can't remember what magic weapon he had, so I just closed the book.
Look, a sort of slicing.
The Heart Seeker.
Oh, that was the sword that let him re-roll to hit.
Let him re-roll to hit. So I've given him the Accurate Axe.
Which has the same effect, I think.
Has
Re-rolls
same
to hits.
effect, yeah. Extra +1 strength. That's basically it. Then we've got the Odd Git.
Shimsham.
He had a Blade of Slicing for some reason and a Dispel Scroll.
One attack wizard with an extra magic sword.
So to try and keep it close, I've given him the Biting Blade, which is the closest thing I could get to that. And he's got the Idol of Mork for some extra dispel.
So that's to replicate the effect of the Dispel Scroll.
Exactly, yeah, because you can't get Dispel Scroll is not really the same.
Then the big boss.
And the big boss has got he originally had a Blade of Leaping Bronze and an Amulet of Fire. So I haven't been able to give him that, but I have given him a Sword of Striking and a Charmed Shield.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
And then the Wolf Rider boss with the
Wolf Rider
scimitar
boss.
there.
So he had an Ogre Blade, but I couldn't afford that. He's not allowed to take it, so he's got a Giant Blade instead, and he had the Crown of Command, and instead of that he's got a Thinking Hat.
Makes him immune to Impetuous.
Yeah.
Excellent. Massed Goblin Horde. Okay, well, let's turn around to the Defenders of the Empire. So, the original list had a unit of 5 Pistoliers, so I've got exactly that. 5 Pistoliers, just as the original list took. Next up, the original list had a wizard by the name of Lothar the Silent. He was mounted on a horse. Unfortunately, I don't have a wizard mounted on a horse, so mine is on foot instead. He's Grandalf the Grey, the tallest grey wizard in the order. He was originally armed with a skull staff for +1 Dispel. I've instead given him the Wand of Jet, which gives him +1 to cast and +1 to Dispel, but it was as close as I could approximate. Next up, a unit of 10 handgunners. There was, I think, a unit of 10 handgunners. Yep, exactly original. These, unfortunately, are not the multi-part handgunners that were available at the time. They are the monopose handgunners that came in the 6th edition starter box, albeit I've fiddled with them a little bit. However, the unit of swordsmen that came next, there was a unit of 20 swordsmen in the original list, and this is exactly the same swordsman kit that was available at the time. Next to them, I've got my General Kurt Heimwald. So the original version of this was mounted on a horse, even though almost there was no other cavalry in the army. Nonetheless, that's what I've equipped him with. He was originally equipped with the Armour of Fortune, which gave him a 5-up ward with a reroll. I have given him the White Cloak instead, which gives him a 5-up ward save and gives him a 3-up ward save against flaming attacks, although I don't think you have any flaming attacks, so that's a bit of a waste. I have, however, also given him the Giant Blade to make up points, so it'll be a duel of the Giant Blades at some point during this. Next to him was a unit of 15 halberdiers. This is the most that I had of this particular set, unfortunately. It was 20 in the original. I've taken a unit of 15. But next to that is my battle standard bearer, Captain Schwarzhelm. He was originally equipped with an enchanted shield, so I have equipped him with an enchanted shield. Next to that, the unit of 12 crossbowmen. The original battle report had 10. I had 12 in my collection, so I've added the extra 2. And then, coming along on the end here, I will lift this out of the way in a minute. So we've got the steam tank. Yes, that was the reaction that Jim's opponent had in the original White Dwarf. A steam tank?
in 1,500 points. But yes, here we have the original Pride of Nuln himself, the Defiant, and lurking behind it, the original battle report had a unit of Dogs of War, Daedalus Birdmen of Katrazar. That, unfortunately, has not yet made its appearance in the old world, so I went for the next equivalent thing, which is a unit of mercenary ogres, the only mercenaries that a Empire army can take at the moment, and we will find out in just a minute whether or not they're actually going to turn up, or whether they're going to misbehave. Put the steam tank back. Finally, on the end here, the original army had a Hellblaster volley gun. Unfortunately, you can't fit a steam tank and a Hellblaster volley gun legally in a 1,500 point Empire army in the old world, so I have subbed in for a great cannon instead, and I'm sure we'll just do great. Okay, so you've also seen therefore, that is both our deployment for this. The scenery has been matched as closely as possible to the original White Dwarf, so there's a hill in the Goblin deployment zone, and then a couple of woods on the flank of the Empire deployment zone. We've not aimed to deploy our armies in the same way that they were deployed in the original White Dwarf, but actually I found that looking at the way mine has come out, and I'll perhaps throw a comparison map up in just a minute, mine has come out extremely close to how the original one came out. I think that may just be because there are only so many ways in which you can deploy an Empire army. But so in a minute, we will roll for first turn, and then we'll get started. Okay, so as I mentioned, I've got a unit of mercenary ogres in my Empire army. Hopefully they have been well paid and they are sufficiently loyal troops to the Emperor that they will do as I've asked them to do. But let's roll a dice and find out. Just to remind you, misbehaving mercenaries rule is I roll a dice, and on anything but a 1, they behave themselves. On a 1, they do something weird. Let's find out. Hey! Eminently well-paid mercenaries. Good lads. I shall deploy them, and then we'll get on with what the rest of the stuff we're doing. Michael won the roll-off for turn 1 then, and the trolls instantly failed their stupidity test and are lumbering along slowly behind the snotlings. There's no charges, so it's the compulsory movement with the squighoppers.
I can move 8.
Boing, boing, boing. Up to 8. Boing, boing, boing. They are fighting in the shadow, which seems eminently appropriate for night goblins.
What's the range of your guns? 24.
24 on the handguns. So they are just out of range up until you bounce forward.
I don't have to bounce forward.
You don't have to bounce forward, you can loiter over there.
I can go this way.
You can, towards the Pistoliers. Interestingly, as you noted, the Pistoliers are deployed over on the flank, which is exactly where the originals were deployed. Purely unintentional, I assure you. Must keep squighoppers out of range of deadly firearms. Don't want to get shot. Nothing's in charge range, so there's no impetuous rolls this turn.
No.
I'll let the orcs finish moving, and then we'll catch up in a bit. Right, so the Doom Diver. There's been no other shooting, as almost nothing was in range. The one thing that was in range missed. But the Doom Diver is going to be firing from all the way over here into, it looks like, the middle of this big block of swordsmen. No, it's the halberdiers. Okay. Now, this is the problem of me using my 5th edition Empire army, because their base sizes are closer together. So the downside for me is that more of them are going to get hit if this hits. And Doom Divers have special rules allowing them to modify where they...
3 inches.
Yeah, so it's almost certainly if it gets a hit, or a close scatter. So 6 inches that away. Going almost directly sideways at the moment. You may want to keep that because it'll hit the general. Do you want to modify it D3 inches? Is it
Well,
3
I
inches?
might bring it back 3 inches this way.
Yeah? Is it 3? Just automatically 3?
D3.
D3. Hey, you're going to borrow a dice, this one. Just at the end there. D3 inches to try and come back this way. Up to 3 inches. This goblin goes flat, 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 flat. And lands directly on the Count's head.
That's ideal.
Okay, well, for you, maybe. Okay, let's see how many else you get. So you also get 3 definitely of the halberdiers, 3 partials, and it looks like 6 swordsmen and 2 partials.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to roll for the partials?
Yeah, so
3 partials for the halberdiers, 4 ups. No, those halberdiers are safe.
and 2.
2 partials for the swordsmen are also safe. But so it's 6 swordsmen, 3 halberdiers, and the general, who is directly under the Doom Diver.
Should we do the general last?
Yes, let's.
So What a shot.
Swordsman or Halberdiers first? What strength is it?
Strength. 8 under the dot and 4 for the...
So it's 3s to wound the swordsman.
So how many was it? 6 of each.
Six of those and 3 of the Halberdiers.
Swordsmen.
6 swordsmen, all wounded. AP?
AP -1.
Ooh. I'll check what they've got. I think they've got light armour and shields. Let me just check.
This could kill your general.
This absolutely could kill my general. Yeah, the swordsmen have got light armours and shields, so -1 takes it to 6 up saves. That's 6 up saves. Let me just get some more dice.
Yeah.
So 6 saves were 6 for those swordsmen. Oh, I saved one. Saved 2. So I'll keep that rank. And I'll put 1 back, but that's 4 dead from that unit. That's not quite enough to cause a panic check, thankfully, for that unit. The Halberdiers.
So 4 Halberdiers.
3 Halberdiers. It was a 3 down the flank here. 3.
Oh, 3.
Yep. So 3. Again, needing 3s.
1.
These have light armour but no shield, so that's just 1 dead. The general, then, it's strength 8. He's toughness 4, so it's a 2 up to wound. He's wounded. How many wounds does it cause, and what's the AP?
It's D3 plus wounds, AP -3.
D3 wounds, AP -3. Okay, my general has...
D3 plus 1 wounds.
D3 plus 1, oh my god. It's full plate, that's a 4 up. He's
nothing.
got a shield, so that's a 3 up. He's mounted on a barded steed, so that takes him to a 2 up. -3 puts him back on a 5 up.
Yeah.
5 up. No! But he has a 5 up ward.
Okay.
Come on, 5 up ward.
Oh,
Yes! So, unfortunately, though, some casualties from the Doom Diver, though. The general just wipes spattered bits of goblin off himself, but is otherwise unscathed, thanks to the white cloak. Okay, I think, is that the end of the goblin turn? There's no wizardry in range, so it's the Empire turn.
Yep.
Bear with us, we will catch up with you in a sec.
Okay, well, I don't think I hope Michael's not going to be doing that again. That was worrisome for my general there. Goblin flying out of nowhere. It's the start of my turn. I should have mentioned what spells I've got. Grandalf over here has got a Pillar of Fire, which is done in the magic missile. It's done in the shooting phase. And he's also got a kind of a mind-messing spell. What the hell is it called? The Curse of Cowardly Flight, which is a hex. So that will be done in the start turn phase. Unfortunately, it's only got a 15-inch range, so nothing is going to be in range of that for the moment. So it looks like no magic at the start of the turn. I'm just going to crack on with some movement. I think first thing I'm going to do is since there's no charges, because no one's going to be in range, I did contemplate maybe trying a charge with the Pistoliers, because they have got Swift Stride. So, you know, they've got a decent chance of maybe reaching the chariot, but I think instead I'm going to ride over and, shoot at stuff with my brace of pistols and see if I can't mess some stuff up with that. But so everything else is just going to, for the most part, hold the line, except for this flank, where the Ogres and the Steam Tank are going to start advancing into the Orc and Goblin line. First things first, then, a Steam Power roll for the Steam Tank. Hopefully neither of these are a 1. Neither of these are a 1. I've got a 6 inches. Full speed ahead with the tank engine. Choo-choo. So the movement of 4, but I can go 10 inches and then also still fire my steam gun and my cannon. So let's turn the prow that way. Choo-choo. Dun, 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 dun. Don't know if I'm going to be in range with the flavor template. Let's have a quick look-see. I could steam clean a couple of goblins, but at that point I could equally steam clean a couple of bases of snotlings and fire the cannon. Do I fire the cannon at the trot? Well, I can fire the cannon through that unit. That seems like a good plan. And that equally still leaves this cannon a nice clear line of sight through either of the big goblin units over there. Okay, let's move everybody else. Ogres, my mercenary ogres. 6-inch move. They're not going to march. They're just going to walk up 6 inches to join the line. There we go. Pistoliers. So they can't march. If they march, then I won't be able to fire my brace of pistols.
Yep.
So it's just a regular move for the Pistoliers, which 12-inch range on their pistols, so make sure they're going to be in range. Yep, they'll be in range of that chariot. There we go. Right. The rest of the Empire line stays still, not close. Sunlight gleaming off the tips of their swords and halberds, and they gun barrels as they prepare to unleash hell upon the Goblin Horde. It's the shooting phase. Possibly every Empire player's favourite phase. Okay, so first things first, I guess, let's fire some cannons. I'm going to need a scatter and... Oh, no, I need an artillery dice. And we'll just use the hit marker as a marker for where things are going to go. Minimum range on the steam tank.
Hopefully you've gone too close.
There is no minimum range.
Okay, cool.
So, okay, ideally what I want to do is I want to kind of land it here and then bounce all the way through and smash into the chariot as well, because that would be awesome. Anywhere between 2 and 10. Going to go for 4, so I'm going to put it about what I reckon about 4 inches away is. So this is the initial movement before it bounces. No! The steam tank just clonk, bang, and loses a wound from it. Okay? 1 wound gone from the steam tank.
It's
9 left.
It's good to see every edition of Warhammer a cannon misfires on the first turn.
Fine. Well, we'll steam clean some snotlings at least instead. Toughness of snotlings?
2, I think.
That's good, because the steam gun is strength 2. So that'll be 4s. 2 snotlings, steam cleaned.
Yeah.
Nice and shiny and clean. This cannon, let's see if this one can do a little bit better. Ideally, I'd like to go right through the general's unit.
So do you have to shoot at a point you can see?
Yeah.
So the snotlings are in the way, probably.
It's a very good question.
Or check the rules and be back.
Yep. Michael is quite correct. I do have to be able to see this. So those snotlings, I could shoot the cannon just in front of the snotlings, but I can't place the marker anywhere beyond the snotlings. So there's 2 options open to me. I could put a marker here, hope that the initial roll gets it beyond the snotlings, and then the bounce goes through. Or I could just shoot at that big unit of night goblins on the hill, hope that I smash them to flinders and they run squeaking for the hills, having, lost their leadership test, because they're not going to be in range of the general's leadership, so they're going off their boss's leadership,
They will
plus
be
their ranks.
12 inches, and the general's just here.
Oh, because command range is actually now your leadership, so it's not 12 inches.
12 inches for your general.
Is it 12 inches for your general? Okay.
And 18 if you're on a big...
I did not know that. I thought it was just the leadership of your general. Okay. The sensible thing to do is to try and shoot that big unit of gobbos on the hill. So I'm going to try and shoot just through the snotlings instead. So let's just go try to shoot over the snotling's head and see what happens. We might smash some snotlings. At least it does like D3 plus 3 hits. It could smash some snotling bases to pieces. Equally, it could bounce right on through and hit something else. Let's see. How far is it going to go? 4 inches. So the initial drop lands there. Right. Now I'm hoping for a nice high number to bounce all the way to that goblin unit. 6 inches. It's going to land right in front of the goblins and stop there. It did absolutely nothing. Well done, lads. Well, that's not true. It didn't misfire. I suppose I can say that much for it at least. Okay. Let's shoot at some other stuff. I've got a 30-inch range on the crossbows. Now, that could be shoot at the general's unit, which is tempting, because all the crossbows then can see and are in range. But equally, those snotlings are in short range. How many wounds does a snotling stand have?
6. And there's 2 units there, so there's this unit and that unit.
Yeah, I'd need to kill lots of snotlings to kill the bases. They're unbreakable as well, aren't they?
Yeah. You need to kill all of them.
Annoying little things. Okay, so a few things have happened. The crossbows deliberated over which unit to shoot at, decided to shoot at the spear-armed goblins and completely failed to do anything. A lone handgunner also took a pot shot at them and failed to do anything. The pistoliers blazed away at the chariot and took a wound off it. And then, whilst I was hunting for a 3-inch blast template for my spell to cast, Michael realised that the Doom Diver uses the 3-inch template, not the 5-inch template. A quick rescan meant that none of the halberdiers, in fact, have died, and only 2 of the swordsmen have died, which is, phew, a bit more of a relief. In the meantime, my wizard has cast a pillar of fire! There's this whirling vortex over here, which is going to be drifting around the board, hopefully setting fire to enemy units. That is the end of my first turn, so we're going over to Michael's turn now. Okay, so impetuosity tests. One of the unit of snotlings has failed its impetuous test, the other one has passed. The Wolf Riders, thanks to the Goblin Wolf Rider boss in their unit with his magic item, don't have to test, but want to charge the cannon, not surprisingly. Over here, it looks as if there's going to be a chariot charging into the Pistoliers as well. Although, do you have to do an impetuous test for the?
No, because they're random moves.
Because they're on a move, they don't have to do an impetuous test. Cool. Okay.
Got a move of 9.
Yeah, move of 9. They've got Swift Stride.
So the standard is a 4, and Swift Stride 9. So
18-inch charge. I think they might be in range.
Yeah. So
I think my cannon is about to die. That being said, those goblins are going to regret that if the ogres then get to charge them next turn.
And the way it works is you have to put them in a big line.
Move
So
that
if they
out the way.
can actually get to that.
Yeah, I think that cannon's going to be quite dead. What about the snotlings? Where are they going?
These guys. I should take anything off. These guys are charging the steam tank. So they've got a movement of 6 anyway. So that one's in. And these are 1. So they're going to be in. Yeah.
Eee! 2 unbreakable units fighting it out.
Just want to pin him down so he can't fire. And these guys are going to try. I'm going to try and charge the ogres.
Have they got immune to psychology?
Yeah.
Don't care.
Because he causes terror as well, doesn't he?
I don't know. I have to check. I think the ogres cause fear. Yeah, ogres cause fear.
And this causes terror.
Good job those snotlings are immune to psychology then.
I mean, that's what the plan was. I think they're going to charge the steam tank as well.
Okay. Ooh, 6 + 6, 12 inches. Yeah, they're in. A lot of snotlings to squish before I can
do
them.
anything. Okay, charges over here. So
Chariot.
Were you going to fire and flee?
I think I'm going to fire and flee, yeah. I decided to try and fire and flee with the pistoliers, partly because I've never tried it before. But so they blasted away with their pistols, took another wound off the chariot, so it only has 1 wound left. But now, can it catch them? It's got a movement of 9, and it is 15 inches away from them.
So the normal.
The normal charge roll.
Normal charge roll.
6.
6. That's enough.
6
And
minus
Swift
15.
Stride,
Yeah, the chariot is going to mow them down.
19.
Yes, you catch them. Bye-bye, pistoliers.
So they're all dead.
Okay, so the rest of the movement, the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers have bounded forward. The Goblin, the arrows have finally come down off the hill, and the rest of the units have advanced forward as well. Everything is advancing basically except for the Doom Diver. We did realise just one thing, which is that I was desperately trying to figure out firing the cannon over the top of the Snotling swarms, and actually we realised swarms don't block line of sight. So, never mind, a learning experience. We are about to go into the shooting phase, and it's time for more Doom Divery goodness. Where are you going to place it?
So I think I blocked the unit I shot at last time.
You can't see the swords anymore because the trolls are in the way. You can see the halberdiers.
I'm going to put it on the middle of the halberdiers again, which is where I put them last time, I think.
Oh, you did actually get scattered from there. Okay.
So,
Can you get another magical Doom Diver scatter? No, you just hit. So you're going to get the one under the hole directly. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 around it. And then 3 partials on that side, 3 partials. So 6 partials, 9 in the middle. Oh dear.
okay, 6 partials.
Yep. So 3 of those, so 4 of those. So it's 9 plus, well, it's 8 plus 4, so it's 12. And then the one under the hole separately.
One of the holes, blue dice.
Okay.
So he needs a 2, everyone else is 3s.
Strength 4, yeah?
Yep.
Yep.
An 8 for the one.
So it definitely gets the guy under the hole, but almost everybody else is just kind of wiping bits of goblin off themselves.
3's wound, right?
Yeah, strength 4, toughness 3.
Okay, so
7
that's AP minus 3.
Yeah, so the one,
And the
the
other
one,
one's
the one under the hole is just dead.
And the other's AP
And
minus
it's
1.
7 save. Well, they have light armor. They don't get light armor, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more dead.
That's a panic test.
That is over half the unit. That will be a panic test in just a minute. Any more shooting?
Now, panic test now. So that,
You don't do any more shooting first.
no, I haven't got any more. I've got these guys can shoot, but yeah, you do the panic test when they're
Okay, well,
taking them.
General's leadership. I'll just check that. Leadership 9 for the captain, who's immediately next to it.
Ooh.
Just passes.
Magic. You've got some magic missiles, have you
I
not?
can't because I march, but these guys can shoot.
Those, well, we'll do that, and then we'll catch up.
Okay, as expected, the Wolf Riders massacred the cannon and their crew. The big boss wielding his scimitar chopped down 2 of them, and the final one was massacred by one of the other Wolf Riders. They've reformed, ready to face an ogre charge this turn. The Snotlings piled themselves into the steam tank, gumming up the gears, and I think one of them possibly trying to climb down the smokestack, causing another wound on the steam tank. They needed, I think, 5s to hit and 6s to wound, but they still managed to cause another wound. The steam tank in turn smushed an entire base of them under its wheels. The Snotlings fell back because they are unbreakable, at which point I needed a leadership 8 test not to follow up, so I would be free and clear to charge that wolf chariot and cause all manner of chaos. Yeah, the steam tank rolled a 9, and the steam tank commander, clearly incensed at Goblin Goo getting on his lovely shiny steam tank, has followed up, rampaging into them. We'll see what happens. It's my turn 2 now, so let's get ready for lots of Empire shooting. Okay, so we did the beginning of the Empire. It's the Tower of Fire, Pillar of Fire, still drifting but not quite making contact with the Squig Hoppers. Maybe next turn, I doubt it, they'll probably boing away. We'll see. It does get to move before they move, actually, because it moves at the beginning of each turn. So it might set fire to some Squig Hoppers. The Wizard, though, Grandalf the Grey, turned round towards the wolf chariot that was menacing him on the flank, cast a spell that lacerated the minds of the crew and the wolves. The wolf chariot failed its panic test and promptly sped away off the board. No doubt the goblins yelling at the wolves to come back as the wolves hightailed it for the hills. I think that may be the first thing of your army that I've actually managed to take off the board.
Yep.
Over here, the Wolf Riders passed their fear test on a double 1 as the Ogre Bulls charged in. I don't have any other charges because the only thing I wanted to charge with, my chariot, is stuck in combat. Oh. So I'm now going to start shooting at things, and we'll catch up with you after that. Okay, combat's over with, I don't know what they've been feeding these Wolf Riders. They must be on pedigree chum or something. Ulf Bone Breath and his boys. The Ogres charged in, it started well. They killed 2 of the Wolf Riders with impact hits, at which point Ulf Bone Breath chopped down Ogre Bull on his own, and the rest of the Wolf Riders accounted for another Ogre. In return, my Ogres, I think, killed 1 wolf in close combat. All their attacks, 2 hits, of which 1 wounded. The Ogres, not surprisingly, broke and fled from combat. Thankfully, have not yet been caught by the Wolf Riders, but that does mean the Wolf Riders are not, as I had hoped, chopped into nice meaty chunks or headed off the edge of the board. They are instead heading directly towards my crossbowmen. I think the only thing I've got to take solace from is that they might meet the Ogres first before they reach the crossbowmen. Over here, another Snotling climbed inside the stove and blocked up the steam tank, causing another wound. It'll be the most embarrassing thing ever if I bring a steam tank and it's killed by Snotlings. But yeah, I have squashed some more Snotlings. This time I managed to restrain pursuit. So hopefully next time, if that chariot's still there, I might stand a chance of running into that chariot. It's Orc and Goblin turn 4. I'm going to ask Michael to keep the camera recording, because the first thing that happens before any charges is we set fire to some Squig Hoppers. 3 inches, that's enough. The template comes into the middle of this unit, so it's going to be there, essentially. Just space them out a little bit to make room. And instantly sets them on fire. D3 plus 3, strength 3 hits. 5 strength 3 hits at AP minus 2. Toughness 3.
Yep.
4s to kill them. 3 Squig Hoppers burst into flames. They are unfortunately immune to panic. And I suspect they will now bounce away from that, but at least that killed something. We'll turn the camera off. Oh, do you want to make some impetuous rolls first before we turn the camera off?
Yeah, so we've got 2 lots of Snotlings.
So Snotling, impetuous roll for the one wounded stand.
They're charging anyway, but...
He can choose. They can both choose. Wolf Riders don't have to test because of the big boss Ulf Bone Breath.
Goblins don't have to... No, nothing else has to test.
What about, they don't have to because they're compulsory moves? No, okay, right. Stupidity for the trolls, and then we'll get some movement going.
Pass.
Let's get on with some movement. We'll catch you in a bit. Okay, so the the Wolf Riders ran down the Ogre Bulls and have reformed in front of the crossbowmen. Between the shots flying in from the archers, the Doom Diver, and the wizard that was kind of casting mind bullets on the handgunners have lost half their strength. In combat, no wounds caused on the steam tank this time. Although a Snotling tried to climb down the stovepipe, it was denied. I passed my 3-up save, finally. And I killed off a whole base of Snotlings, and I passed my restrain test. So this turn, I might finally get to do something with a steam tank that doesn't involve crushing Snotlings into a fine jam. It's my turn 4. I think I'm gonna move the flamey pillar of death thing, and then we'll make some charges.
But wait,
What's
what's this appearing from this unit?
Oh no!
Some fanatics!
Yeah, I figured they were probably in that unit. So you deploy them within 3 inches, yeah?
Yeah, and then we'll figure out what they do.
Oh god. Okay, well first I'm gonna try and set fire to some squig hoppers. 4-inch move for the flamey template of doom.
That's going to hit them, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go this way as well, so I can try and get the archers next turn. So yeah, D3 plus 3, strength 3 hits. So 5 again. 4s to immolate. 2 more, burst into flames. Okay, so the general of the Empire successfully charged the Night Goblin unit rather than stand here and risk being hit by flying fanatics. We'll see if that works out for him in a minute. Speaking of flying fanatics, one of them crashed through the battle standard bearer from the Knights of the Blazing Sun, successfully causing no wounds. The second one, however, did take a wound off the Knight of the Blazing Sun, but more tellingly, it killed 6 of the crossbowmen. That's just mental. This one over here, meanwhile, killed a couple of swordsmen. Hopefully that's the worst I have to endure from these fanatics, but on the other hand, next turn they will just start moving randomly, so they might start crashing back through me again.
They'll probably start hitting me now.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try doing some shooting, and then we'll see whether or not I have, well, any luck in the combat phase, I guess. Let's see what happens next. Well, that went well, not at all. Okay, the good things first. The steam tank successfully smushed the Goblin chariot under its mighty iron shod frame. Did not restrain pursuit, so has overrun behind the Goblin army, which is not quite what I wanted it to do, because it can't charge next turn, so there's limits to what it can do. The shooting phase, well, the handgunners completely whiffed it. They shot at these squig-hoppery things, and not a one of them hit. The crossbowmen shot 2 of the Wolf Riders, who passed this. Literally, this should be in every unit that every game that you use now. This is by far the best unit of Wolf Riders I've ever seen. They just shrugged off the crossbow bolts, catching them on their shields, ready to charge next turn. The general, charging into the Night Goblin unit, issued a challenge, which was accepted by the unit champion rather than any of the characters in the unit. He massacred the Goblin champion. All his attacks hit, mullered him over combat. Lost by 1 due to the rank bonuses on the Goblin unit. All he needed was an 8 or less. He rolled a 9, was out of range for the Battle Standard Bearer. So is fleeing, because he is massively outnumbered by that unit, which is why you don't charge heroes on their own into units. And I wouldn't have. If it weren't that he's on a horse, I would have had him in a unit and he'd have been safe from flying fanatics. So the Goblins have now got an extra free move towards me. Presumably they will... I think I'd have to check the rules for panic. I might have to take a panic chest for everybody because the general is literally running towards them, yelling, "Run away!"
Yeah, well, I don't think you do, but we'll check it.
Yeah, if he makes it back to the Midden Marsh after this, he may well be up for a court-martial for both how badly he's been commanding this army and also fleeing from Night Goblins in front of his army. Let's have a quick check on the rules of panic. All of the charges have occurred. The Snotlings are once again benighting, almost insultingly, in Steam Tank. The Wolf Riders have charged into the Crossbowmen. The Trolls have charged into the Halberdiers and the Battle Standard Bearer. The Archers charged towards the General, who boldly fled, almost making it off the table edge. If he'd rolled just a little bit higher, he would have run off the board. As it is, the Archers are now in combat with the Swordsmen. 2 of their number were shot dead in a stand and shoot reaction from the handgunners in the support. We're now about to do the Fanatics. So the first Fanatic, coming this way. Double 1, he's dead. He wraps the ball and chain around his neck and dies. This one, goes the direction of the arrow, yeah? So 8 inches this way. Shoots along behind the units.
He could get crashed into by his...
The last one is also going that way. 7 inches. They're going to wrap into around each other's necks.
I think he's just going to miss.
2 of them lurking over here. I was really hoping they were going to smash into like the trolls or
was
something.
Was that 8 a double 4?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think it was.
Well, we'll check out the camera when it comes back later. Bit.
Okay.
Okay. The shooting phase. You've got the bolt thrower. The stone thrower. Can the Doom Diver see the wizard?
Yes.
Do you want to shoot the bolt thrower at the Doom Diver at the wizard?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay. Direct fire. 1 bolt Doom Diver on the wizard's head.
So I need a hit.
Scattered artillery. It hits!
It hits!
Doom Diver straight on the wizard's head. Strength 8. Oh, cock dice. Roll again. Wounds, and it does D3 or something like that, doesn't it?
Oh, let's check.
Check. I'll just check how many wounds the wizard has.
I think it's D3 plus 1 wound.
He has 2 wounds. Oh, cock dice. Oh, he's got dice.
3 wounds!
Yeah. What's that flapping thing up there, says the wizard, as a Doom Diver comes peering out of the sky and smashes him dead.
A mixed bag then. So the Snotlings did not succeed in climbing down the stovepipe this turn. Unfortunately, I once again failed to restrain and beep, 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 backed the steam tank up into the Snotlings. At least there's only 2 wounds left on one of the bases and the other one's still on full wounds. The Wolf Riders massacred the crossbowmen and have reformed ready to charge into the flank of this unit. The Trolls lost combat. They killed 2 halberdiers, but lost one of their own number and fled back through the Night Goblins. I was hoping that this would be the ideal moment for the whole Night Goblin army to turn tail and head for the hill, but no, it did not happen. I have followed up, therefore, into the General's unit. The Swordsmen failed combat. They killed 1, they lost 2, they've given ground. We're going into my turn 5. It's still all to play for. We're still in it, lads. He said, hopefully.
Okay, so start of Empire turn 5, start of movement, we realise the Fanatics, come on, kill some Wolf Riders. No, he's going 10 inches away from the Wolf Riders. You're going the wrong way. Other one, go to the Wolf Riders. Oh, no, he's going, no, it's not quite the right way. 7 inches back this way, past the Wolf Riders. There's no other Fanatics left. Yeah, I'm just going to do, okay, try and rally the General. Leadership 9. 8, he rallies. You're all doing very well, lads, he calls from the back. The swordsman will charge the archers. You gonna stand and take it?
I have to, because I'm in combat with the handgunners.
Oh, I thought you're not in combat, you're restrained.
Oh, I'll stand and shoot. Oh, no, I can't.
You can't
in
shoot.
for yeah. I'll stand and take it.
Okay, so I think they're going to be in. So charge, and that's basically all I can do. There's no shooting because they can't shoot a unit in combat. They can't shoot a unit in combat. It's literally just combat phase. So we'll do that and then we'll catch up and see how it's gone. I think we're very much in the end phase now of this game. There's one more turn after this. Let's see how it goes. A quick recap here. Big Boss, the Battle Standard Bearer, challenged the Goblin War Boss, who accepted and probably took 2 wounds. He caused no wounds in return, but his unit did kill 2 of the halberdiers. Luckily, they passed the leadership test and gave ground, and the unit followed up, ready to be charged in the flank by the Wolf Riders in this last turn. The Swordsman successfully caused no wounds. The archers successfully caused no wounds. The swordsman gave ground. The unit restrained, presumably going to shoot at me this turn. Over here, another snotling climbed down the stovepipe, causing yet another wound to the steam tank. It's now lost 4 wounds to snotlings. In return, I munched some more snotlings under the wheels, tried to restrain, so I might get at least 1 turn of not having to fight snotlings. But again, he just was too incensed at the fact that snotlings were attacking his steam tank and reversed back into them. We're going into the last of the Orc turns. Declare charges, then compulsory. Before that, it's Fanatics, isn't it?
And I get to rally these guys. What's
So-
it for that? I'll rally these guys.
So leadership off the boss. No, they keep running. They will just flee for the rest of the game now.
Yeah.
9 inches. The counter's destroyed.
Different to that.
Okay. The Fanatics. This one. Go on into the Wolf Riders. Go on. You know you want to.
Into the battle standard bearer.
Into the Battle Standard Bearer.
Into both.
Into both the
3
Battle Standard Bearer
inches.
and the Halberdiers. Oh dear. 3 inches. Yeah,
Just
that gets the
hits
Battle
him.
Standard Bearer. Oh dear. I was looking so he was all geared up to kill the Goblin War
So
Boss.
it's only D6.
Only D6. 2. We can take this. 3s. 1's caught, so 1 wounded, 1 didn't. So 1
One
wound.
wound, and it's AP -3.
He's got a 5-up save and a 6-up ward. He saves! Doesn't care! He's going to take that Goblin War Boss down if it kills him. The other one goes 6 inches towards the Snotlings.
Could matter.
Might matter. Well, no, they won't move again next turn, will it?
It'll move on start on your turn.
Oh, true. Okay, charges. Wolf Riders.
Wolf Riders are charging.
Can't do anything other than take it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the general's.
Yeah, just
thing.
leave it to one side.
You've only got
Wolf
one
Riders
left
then.
as well.
Yeah. This unit's not charging.
No, we're going to do all the shooting.
Okay, we'll do some shooting and then we'll catch up with you. The Snotlings did no wounds to the steam tank, and in return, it crushed all 4 last Snotlings. All I got to do now is decide what I want to do with this unit. I'm going to reposition him.
You have to test a reposition, otherwise you have to pursue.
I can't pursue, they're dead.
No, but you.
Okay. I'm going to reposition him. Can shoot and move and stuff next turn. I actually can do something now. There's no Snotlings to bother me. Just in time for the Fanatic to crash into me quite
Oh, I
possibly.
forgot to shoot with this guy. I do that.
Okay, we'll do a quick shot from the Doom Diver.
I have successfully rolled 3 1s in a row with my Battle Standard Bearer, causing absolutely no wounds on the unit that I was fighting. I was fighting against Ulf Bone Breath, the Goblin War Boss on Giant Wolf. Yeah, the Halberdiers horribly died. The Battle Standard Bearer ran away, so he has run off the board. These guys chose to restrain rather than flee, than pursue me through the Fanatic, surprisingly. It's my last turn. We're going to do the Fanatics movement, and then we'll do any other last bits that we've got.
Okay, I've got strong hopes for this Fanatic.
This way, come on.
Go, you've got lots of targets. Yes! Straight into the wolves. 3 inches. Into the
So
wolves.
I'll pop out the back.
Kill those nasty wolf riders.
So D6.
D6, strength 5. 3. Go on, smush them. Smush is 2. Is that enough for a panic check? That's a quarter of the unit.
Yep.
Go on, panic. Yes!
He run away.
Run away!
So they got Swift Stride. Use one of those.
They're gonna, you know the thing is? They're going to run away into the Fanatic, is that right?
They run towards the nearest table edge. 12.
Well,
So
that's
they
this
might be
edge.
gone. They're gone.
They've actually got into, they've pursued the Battle Standard Bearer off the board, clearly,
Yeah.
to hunt him down and kill him.
The men of the match.
Okay, the other Fanatic, this is the worrying bit, the other Fanatic near the steam tank. Oh, no, they're directly away. 10 inches directly away from the steam tank. Thank God for that. Right, okay. I'm going to do a charge over here with the swordsman, because there's naff all else really they can do.
Stand and shoot.
Too close.
Oh yeah, too close. Okay.
And the steam tank is going to move and then see if it can't shoot at some of these goblins.
Come on, let's have a pump failure.
Let's do the steam roll. No, it's fine.
Right, the cannon is going to fire everything it's got at the Goblin War Boss's unit. Let's see if we can't kill some gobbos. So first things first, I'm going to basically guess the minimum guess that I can guess on the cannon. So it's going to
Bounce right over
an
them.
inch. And it misfires and takes a wound.
How many's it got left now?
It's 5, it's lost half its wounds. Fine, I'm going to steam clean some goblins.
At least that can't misfire.
No, that's it. So it definitely hits. I can definitely hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think the most I can definitely hit is. Let's try that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can definitely hit 6 and get 2 partials. So 8 hits. Your toughness 2, right?
No, 3.
Dang it. Strength 2. 5s to kill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A whole rank.
That's a panic test.
8.
They pass. Oh, hang on.
What's your leadership of your war boss?
It might be 7 now because he's only got 1 rank. So they failed.
They flee!
6 inches. So they're still going to be on the board.
Run away from the tank! But they count as fleeing at the end of the...
Yep.
Okay, so
over here, I'm really wishing I charged my... Oh, my general! I think up my general!
Well,
If
that sums up his battle.
Oh, I should charge the general, because then he could have helped the swordsman out. Okay, well... Swordsman, 5 attacks! Oh, hitting on 3s.
Oh, what's your initiative?
Well, we got +2, so 5, because I charged.
Yeah, so I'm going on 5 with my war boss. Oh, no, he's not in that one. Yeah, okay.
Ooh, 4 hits. Forced wound. 1 wound.
No save.
Negative save. You got? Oh, you haven't got any shields.
I haven't got any armour.
You
Right,
get.
here you go. I got my attack.
I have got
Text back.
the Night Goblin Big Boss with a Sword of Striking. He's got 3 attacks.
Oh no. Yeah, hits twice.
And +1, yep. 1 wound.
For the save of a 5 or a 6. Nope. 1 dead swordsman.
The Wizard gets 1 of his attacks.
Misses again. Shimsham has missed every
And
single
then how
time.
many others? So 1, 2, 3,
6
4,
on the front
5.
rank.
So 5. Oh, yeah, but
Oh, yeah, to kill 1. Yeah, so 5.
oh, there's a champion. He's got another attack, so it's 6 attacks. Forced to hit.
Yep. And wound. 4 hits.
3
3
wounds.
3 saves of a 5 or a 6. Saves 2 of them. There's 1. So I get 1, 2 for a standard. You get 2, 3 for a standard, 4, 5. I lose by 3. General's initiative is 9, goes down to 6. They stay put on a double 1. Just give ground a little. That is the end of the game. So at the end of the game, there is 5 swordsmen, 5 handgunners, my general, and a steam tank. The goblins have
2 fanatics.
2 fanatics whirling around the place, a doom diver, and then a unit of night goblin archers, because the trolls and the war boss's unit are fleeing. We'll work out victory points and then sum it all up. We've counted up the scores, and it's close. Had this unit not been fleeing, had the general not been fleeing, it would not have been anywhere near this close. In terms of stuff that is killed, stuff that is fleeing, captured standards, victory points for the general fleeing, and everything else, the total scores on the door at the end of the day. For the Empire giveaway, so the Orcs and Goblins claim, 945 victory points, which out of a 1,500 point game is pretty good. The Empire have claimed from the Orcs and Goblins 905 and a half. So it is a victory to the Orcs and Goblins by 39.5 points. That is outstandingly close. I'm going to look at the White Dwarf. Let's see what the end victory points were at the end of the original White Dwarf. The Empire had 715, so it was a victory to the Empire to 556 from the Gobbos. So the Gobbos have not only, as appropriate for the Black Goblin issue, the Goblins have claimed a victory, and it's very close. That was a stonking game. I really enjoyed that. I've learned a lot from that. I think top list of the things that I learned is if I'd put my ogres between the Wolf Riders and the cannon, I wouldn't have lost my cannon so early. But also, if I'd fired the cannon over the Snotlings, that might have worked out a bit better for me. Who knows? Ah, Snotlings. If I ever see Snotlings on the board again, this steam tank is going as far away from those Snotlings. It spent the entire game killing what is basically 140 points worth of Snotlings, which, for a vehicle that is worth 270, I think the only way it claimed itself back at the end is by panicking this unit of Night Goblins, which I really wanted to do earlier. My strategy early on had been to try and get the Pistoliers to zoom round across in front of the Night Goblins early on, draw the Fanatics out early if I could, but because it's not automatic like it was like in 5th and 6th edition, you've got that choice about whether or not the Fanatics are released, which frankly I think if I'd done that, they'd have just charged the Pistoliers and run them down. So drawing out the Fanatics is a lot more tricky in this. I think it may be a question of either trying to panic that unit early on by, like, if I'd had a mortar, for example, dropping mortar fire on the unit maybe. In terms of anything else I learned, I really wish that they hadn't put the general on a horse in the original scenario. If I'd been able to have my general in this unit of swordsmen and maybe a battle standard bearer in this unit of swordsmen, it would have been a lot of a different game.
I mean, I would have bought a battle standard bearer and then my general wouldn't have been
Yeah,
going
that's
away.
true. What else have you learned from that, Michael?
Buy more snotlings.
More snotlings! That is the answer, clearly. Goblin players, get your snotlings out. What about the fact that, I mean, this was a Night Goblin army almost entirely without orcs. There was no orcs in this army whatsoever. Did you feel the loss?
No, it was great. Like, I really enjoy the Night Goblins. The fanatics are great. Love trolls.
You'd probably had more fanatics, I suspect.
Yeah, the Wolf Riders were unbelievably outperformed.
I honestly don't think they fled at the end of that turn. I think they were just chasing after the Battle Standard Bearer to run him down.
They just went for a party.
I can only imagine this at the end, that when Kurt here gets back to the Midden Marsh, they ask him, so how did it go? And he kind of goes, there were millions of them, boss. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, we must have killed thousands of them. But unfortunately, the steam tank ran out of fuel, and that's why it all went wrong. And anyway, it turns out the steam tank was full of snotlings. I strongly suspect he's facing a court, especially because he didn't charge that last. If I just remembered to charge, I could have had those extra attacks. Maybe I could have broken this unit and claimed victory.
Or you could have rolled all ones again.
Or I could have rolled all ones and then been run down. Who can say? But, oh man, that was a close fought game, but a great game. Hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching. As ever, we will catch you next time. Bye for now.